Bird's Eye View.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bird's Eye View, episode number 6. Very happy to have you. Got a lot of commentary on the first 5, some ideas, some suggestions, whether it may be topics or guests moving forward. Obviously, Paul Perlon last week, as a doctor, brought a lot of ideas to the table that many people had a reaction on in a variety of ways. So that was great to see some engagement that way. And I encourage you, please, let us know if you have any thoughts or feelings or suggestions or otherwise. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge what's happening in Canada and the US right now with the Black Lives Matter movement. Obviously, Skylar, we consider ourselves a very inclusive business. The Black community, of course, has always been one that we've looked to support, we have hired from. It's not about taking any type of a political stand in this case. I think I would like to say, just on behalf of Skylar as a company, and even for myself, that we are believers in the movement. We are supporters of the Black community, and whether that is sharing artists or designers or creators of any kind from the Black community, we'll continue to do so in an effort predominantly right now because we want to show our support as much as possible. And even in finding other ways that we can support on a creative level or design level, if anybody has any ideas on that, I encourage you to please send them to us, and we're definitely going to explore all of them. That being said, switching gears a little bit, again, to introduce our guest today, my very first employee that I hired. I don't even know if I actually hired her. I don't know if I had the authority to do that back then. But the only person who's been at Skylar as long as I have, or pretty close, I'd like to introduce to the show Cindy Volpe.
Hi there.
Hi, are you there?
I'm here.
So just so everybody knows, Cindy's still figuring out this whole work from home thing. She still looks good. She feels good. She doesn't know technology good. But
no, sorry.
Technology isn't her forte. That's okay, Cindy. It's okay. So we just celebrated 20 years. Want to describe all 20 years?
I don't think they want to hear all 20 years. I can sum it up in a nutshell. It definitely does not feel like 20 years. That went by like super, super fast. When I stop and think about how old I was when I started at Skylar and how old I am now, I've been at Skylar almost half my life. And that's insane. We were just kids. Like, we were in our early 20s, and, we watched each other grow up, and, we watched each other have families, get married, and watch Skylar grow. It's been insane.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that it could almost be argued that maybe one of us didn't grow up and just got the families and all the other stuff. But the life events is certainly a way that it all kind of, the 20 years of work kind of blends together because it happens so quickly, and it's such a fast moving train, so to speak, especially when you're changing a business and transitioning into a different industry as we've done. But when you think about the life events, whether it was your 2 kids, my 1 soon to be 2 kids, the marriages, the other things that kind of came and went, whether it was pets or habits or whatever it may be, but you can certainly think about those landmark, kind of moments in life. And look, I think that we both consider each other friends, but, we have primarily a work relationship. At the end of the day, it's life that really kind of identifies or helps to identify how long you spend time with somebody, because you've shared so many experiences, right?
Exactly. And you know what? Like they say, you spend more time with people at work than you do with your own family. So, Skylar's become my family.
And sometimes we like our work family as much, if not more, than our actual family, don't we?
That's true.
Look, at the very beginning, it was the year 2000. We had just gone through Y2K. We had a mutual friend. We, got to know each other on a social level fairly lightly. And you decided that you were looking for a job. I thought that we were finally ready to bring somebody in with, your skill set. It was a printing company, obviously not the most forward, a progressive type business. What led to the decision to start at Skylar?
We met through a mutual friend. Like you said, I was working with Anne-Marie at another company. She was a co-op student, and we worked, very closely together. Actually, we shared a cubicle. So, you would come by and you would share your breaks with her, and I would come out and, we would chat. And I don't know, I don't know what it was. I don't even know how to answer that question. I think our conversations always went well. We were, we got along great. And at that point, I knew that company really wasn't going anywhere. And now was my time to sort of transition into something, that I saw could lead to bigger and better things. So I knew I needed to focus on my career and what I wanted to do. So I jumped at the opportunity.
I think that it would be fair to say, and I don't mean to say this as if I'm on a high horse, but you actually believed in me. Maybe you believed in the business, given that it was a printing company. Maybe this guy can lead us into bigger and better things, right?
Probably. I mean, most likely. You were very energetic. I remember you were very passionate, just like you are now. So obviously I made the right choice.
Yeah. I'd like to argue that you did as well. Despite the fact that you did try to quit once upon a time.
I did.
Again, starting as a printing company, being where we're at right now, which is almost entirely out of print, only, I guess, handling it for a remaining few clients who we cater to on multiple levels. What was it like then versus now? I mean, obviously the office dynamic was entirely different, given that our team has changed quite a bit as far as, roles and responsibilities and the ages and so on and so forth. But are there even any aspects of that old Skylar that you miss?
There are stuff that I miss. I mean, like you said, everything was print. We did some typesetting or some form changes. That was about as much as we got in the creative. I remember Steve, the graphic designer that was there, when he'd be working on the Mercedes, the warranty books. And that was literally all just copy changes. And, he'd have like a stack of papers like this that I had to proofread. And I had to go through every single one, word for word, in English and in French. I still do them, actually. Now that we think about it, I still do proofread them. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the change is insane. And I remember starting and knowing nothing about print. I had no idea what a Pantone was. I had no idea that copy paper was even called bond. I just thought it was called copy paper. At that time, we didn't even have Google to look stuff up. If I didn't know what anything meant, I had to ask somebody.
But luckily for you, I was always willing to answer any questions. Pleasant.
Yeah, you were always helpful. But anything that I would miss, I think I really miss the hands-on work that we did. So it was we were sitting around collating or sorting or packing coupons. And we would just sit around the boardroom table, no computers in front of us. As we're collating, we would just talk, and you were face to face, and you would have nice long conversations, and you would get to know your teammates, and you'd joke around. I think at one point we started singing songs. I think we wrote our own songs. The stress level was different. There was no stress. We were much more laid back. As much as I liked the stress and I liked the energy and the fast pace to get me going throughout the day, I missed that hands-on stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I can see that. And especially when you compare it to right now, where you haven't been at a boardroom table for at least 3+ months with anybody, much less somebody where you're just sitting and talking. Because even now when we're at the boardroom table, everybody's got their laptops in front of them, and we're in there, we're getting work done, and then we get out. Yeah, I agree. But that happens with the scale of the business as well. It wasn't just a different industry, it was a smaller business. So it's easy to be a little bit more laid back when, the amount of work that we're doing was fairly limited, and, we had a defined set of things that we needed to do every day, but, you kind of knew when your day was done. I think that in our business now, you don't even know when your day is done. Everything's just a gray area, right? As far as when it could start and when it could end.
Exactly. And I think the difference is between then and now is, like you said, the days are never the same. There's a lot more people. There's better energy. There's, the team collaboration aspect. I love how we can all just sit in a room and just be so creative. And I love how I've been able to build friendships with my colleagues. I've never been able to do that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, listen, 20 years, it's like I said, it's been a great time together. Obviously, the transition was a huge undertaking that you played a key role in. 9/11, SARS, and then the recession or the depression that hit in 2008. And now we have a pandemic on our hands. And, to a certain extent, well, we've had some challenges, and I think everybody has, we've rolled with the punches and dealt with it. So it leads me to my next question. How have you been dealing with COVID?
I'm trying to stay busy, keep life as normal as possible. I'm not a fan of the work from home. I find myself, I'm a little bit more efficient when I'm at the office, but I'm adjusting. It's it's hard. My kids are graduating, both of them. So I'm trying to stay positive for them. One missed her prom, one didn't go on her grade 8 grad trip. They're not having any grad ceremonies. So I'm hoping I can come up with something creative to do for them. They don't know. So
you have been going into the office, as I have, and we've had a couple people, I guess, Dave as well, kind of switching places, keeping that responsible social distance schedule. Being alone in the office, you're known as a little bit of the office prankster, even though you have an HR aspect to your role, where as our workplace experience director. Are you pranking yourself now that you're in the office by yourself?
Well, Cardboard Kyle seems to be floating around the office, depending on who's in the next day after me. So if it's Dave, I'll put him in Dave's office strategically so that when he opens the door, he gets startled. And so if anybody sees Cardboard Kyle moving around, it's most likely me that's putting him there.
He has a mind of his own, that Cardboard.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zoom and Teams and Join Me and all of the other platforms that we're using to communicate with each other has worked for work. It's, again, you don't get the people. And actually, in some ways, I think our communication may have even improved. Well, I guess two-part question. Do you agree with that? And also, have you been using any of that to stay in touch with people?
I agree with it improving the communication. I think because we're not physically around each other, we feel like we need to communicate better and more. So I think it's efficient. I think it's working well. As far as staying in touch with my family and my friends, it's House Party, it's Zoom, it's Snapchat, wherever we can connect. My parents, I see them a little bit more frequently. My dad's a little bit older and he needs help with stuff. It's a little bit heartbreaking that, they want to hug my kids and they can't, but it is what it is. We'll get through it. And
yeah, that's one of the things, as you know, that I spoke with Paul about last week, is the collateral damage as far as anxiety and the mental health of people is certainly taking its toll. I guess outside of even family and friends, you've become, over the last couple of years, especially a fitness fanatic, and have even taken your fitness classes online now, and as a matter of fact, have one that you told me that you have to get to right after this today, so we can't run long.
I'm super excited. She's doing a live Zoom, so she'll be there on screen to yell at us. But yeah, I try and do them every day. I still work all day, so sometimes, at 5:30 I'm tired. I don't have the energy in me, but she does like Instagram live. So any time of the day we can go in and watch IGTV and work out. So I've set up a little gym behind me. So I just came off a challenge and I'm like, okay, I lost the weight that I had gained during the COVID months. So I'm not going back there again.
If we remember why we're doing it, it's not the same, but keeping that in mind, and I guess the overall health of society and people, at least there's still a way to do those things and we're not just completely shut off from all those.
Exactly.
One of the questions I've been asking everybody is, during COVID, if they have any funny stories, anything that they want to share with us. We're finding that a lot of things have to do with haircuts or animals. Hopefully maybe you have something that's a little bit different.
Well, it is. It's not really funny, but it's just, I guess, finding new hobbies to do or whatever. I never thought I would get to this point in my life, but I've become quite the gardener in my lockdown. I've got, beautiful calla lilies growing in the backyard. I've got peppers, sweet, hot. I've got like 3 different kinds of tomatoes back there and strawberries. I'm very protective of my garden, so watch out. But yeah, when this is all over, I'll invite you over for a nice salad.
Yeah, the hot peppers and tomatoes are certainly intriguing to me. Yeah. I can't even keep my grass going here, so the fact that you're able to do all that is amazing.
I never thought I would come to this point in my life.
We touched on a variety of things, but I guess what we first talked about, 20 years, it's an amazing number. I'm really proud of it. I know you are. We just had another conversation before this about, what the next 20 years has, God willing that we make it to it. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's exciting. I think we'll try to avoid another transition. We'll just try to make this business work. I couldn't thank you enough for helping to build our team, because I think our team is really what makes Skylar what it is. You play such a key role in developing our team always, whether it's the team that we have now or that we've built over the years, that, I'd hate to think about where we might be without that. So thank you for all you've done.
Thank you so much. And thank you to you as well for guiding me along this path. if it wasn't for you and, even being like a leader and a mentor to me, I've always looked up to the way you've handled the business and handled clients. So, thank you for teaching me and, having faith in me that I can do this job well.
I've never been short on faith in you and in most people. And as you know, I'm certainly not unwilling to let people know how to do things or to learn things or to teach things certain ways. So thank you for being open to my teachings.
No problem.
Thanks, Cindy. We'll talk to you soon, but thanks for being on.
Thanks.
Well, everybody, 20 years is definitely something that I'm certainly proud of. It's also something that certainly ages me and Cindy, I guess. But, it's pretty admirable that we're both in our early 30s and we've shared 20 years of work together. As I said at the very beginning, I'm looking to bring something to the table where we can try to address what's happening around the world, but particularly in Canada and the US with the Black Lives Matter movement. Hopefully we can bring a guest on where we can talk a little bit more about that next week. In the meantime, I wish you all to stay well, stay safe, stay supportive of each other and love each other. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Cheers.
Bird's Eye View.